Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we'll be going over when you shouldn't do regression analysis. So I have a question here looking at state debt and per capita taxes, and they give us a correlation coefficient of 0.942 and an alpha value of 0.02, and they ask, should a regression analysis be done? So the first thing I'll do is I'll actually do a regression analysis in Excel, and I do that by going to the Data tab and then going to the Data Analysis tab. Then I'm going to click on regression in the middle, click OK. Then it says input Y range, which is normally my second column. Then it says input X range, which is normally my first column. I'm going to click OK, and I get this summary output. And so we want to figure out when you should or shouldn't do an regression analysis. And given that our alpha is 0.02, if we have a p-value below that, we should do a regression analysis. And if we have a p-value greater than that, we shouldn't do a regression analysis. So we look at our p-value, and we see a p-value of 0.0167, which is less than 0.02. So we know we should do a regression analysis. So I'm going to go back to my data and see what other things it's asking me. It's saying if a regression analysis should be done, find the equation of the regression line. And it's great. We already calculated it with the regression data analysis tool. And so we can look at our coefficient and intercept and x variable. And we would have y equals, they want it in a plus bx. So we would have 467.7832 plus 0.7834x. And so that is our equation. And if we go back to the question, it says at least 4 decimal places. So make sure you're doing 4 decimal places. And then it says find y prime when x equals 2560. Round the answer to at least 3 decimal places. So then I would just plug in my variable. So I would say 467.7842 plus 0.7834 times 2560. I'm going to put an equal sign in the front so it calculates it for me. I'm going to click enter, and there we have our value. It's going to be 2473.288. And let's say you were unsure about your regression analysis line, your x-intercept, your y-intercept, and your x variable. Another thing you could do is you could go back to your data. You could go to insert a chart, let's say a scatter plot, and then you have to highlight the data before you do that. Insert scatter plot. And then let's just label our chart to get in a good habit. State debt and per capita taxes. And then you could actually draw in your regression line. So I'm going to go to add chart element. I'm going to go to trend line. I'm going to go to linear. And I'm going to double click this. And I'm going to go to display equation on chart. And there you have it. So you have your variable, your y-intercept, and your x variable. Make sure you are aware that this outputs it in bx plus a. So make sure you're aware of that. And the other thing you should be aware about is it may not round to how many decimal places you want. So the regression analysis coefficients is a more realistic and certain value. So that's about it. Other things to keep in mind is you make sure that your slope is positive if it's in the positive direction, or negative if it was the other way around. And that's it for regression analysis. Feel free to leave any comments if you have any questions down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.